Rain hammered against the skylights of the Castellano Gallery, turning the glass ceiling into a drum. Elena stood before a photograph of burning fields, her vintage leather camera bag heavy against her ribs. She wore a simple black turtleneck tucked into charcoal trousers, her dark hair twisted into a careless knot. No jewelry. No pretense. The gallery walls were exposed brick, industrial lights casting harsh shadows across abstract paintings and provocative sculptures. She didn't belong here. These people, draped in silk and confidence, spoke in coded language about composition and cultural commentary. She just took pictures of forgotten things. You look lost. The voice came from behind her, low and rough like gravel underfoot. She turned. He stood in the shadows between two sculptures, a tall figure in a black shirt unbuttoned at the collar, dark jeans that probably cost more than her rent. No tie. No jacket despite the October chill. His face was angular, sharp cheekbones catching the light, eyes so dark they looked black. A thin scar cut through his left eyebrow. He held a glass of red wine but hadn't touched it. "I'm exactly where I need to be," Elena said. "Liar." He stepped closer. The scent of leather and rain clung to him. "You've been staring at that same photo for 10 minutes. Either you hate it or you're hiding." Her pulse quickened. "You've been watching me for 10 minutes? I notice things." His gaze traveled across her face, not leering, just cataloging. "You're a photographer. The way you look at images, the calluses on your fingers from holding a camera. But you're not here for the art. You're here because someone made you come." Cold spread through her chest. "My best friend owns this gallery. And you'd rather be anywhere else." She should walk away. Instead, she asked, "What are you hiding from?" Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe. Or recognition. Everything. He set down his untouched wine. "I'm Dominic." Elena. They stood there as rain pounded overhead, the gallery fading into background noise. Around them, people laughed and posed for photos against the art. But in their small pocket of space, the air felt heavy charged. "Can I show you something?" he asked. "I don't know you." "Good instinct." He turned toward a corridor marked private. "Come anyway." Every rational part of her screamed no. But she followed him through the velvet rope, down a hallway lined with windows overlooking the rain-slicked street below. He stopped at the last door, producing a key from his pocket. "How do you have access back here?" He unlocked the door. "I own the building." The room inside was small, unfurnished except for a single painting covered by white cloth. Dominic pulled it away. Elena's breath caught. It was her photograph, the one from the fire she'd witnessed last year. The one she'd never sold, never shown anyone except Mira. "Where did you get this?" His jaw tightened. "Your friend was trying to protect you. She thought if she kept it hidden, they wouldn't find you." "Who?" "The people I work for." He turned to face her, and she saw fear carved into every line of his face. "The people who started that fire. The people who'll kill us both if they know I'm standing here with you right now." Thunder cracked overhead. The lights flickered. Elena's hand found her phone. "I'm leaving." "Wait." He grabbed her wrist, gentle but desperate. "That fire, the one you photographed. You saw something. Something in the flames in the background." She had. A face in the window. A man's silhouette moments before the building exploded. "Who are you?" she whispered. Before he could answer, his phone vibrated. He looked at the screen and his face drained of color. The message was visible for just a second. "She knows. Handle it or we will." Dominic looked at Elena like she was already a ghost. "Run," he said. Elena didn't run. She stood frozen in that private room, rain hammering the windows, Dominic's warning hanging in the air like smoke. "What does that message mean?" she demanded. He pocketed his phone, running a hand through his dark hair. "It means I've made a terrible mistake bringing you here." "Then why did you?" "Because I'm tired." His voice cracked. "I'm tired of watching innocent people disappear because of photographs, because of things they saw that they shouldn't have. And you've been carrying that image for a year, not knowing it's a death sentence." The room felt smaller. Elena's camera bag suddenly weighed 1,000 pounds. "The man in the window," she said slowly. "In my photograph." "Who is he?" Dominic moved to the window, his reflection ghostly in the rain-streaked glass. He wore all black against the city lights behind him, a shadow among shadows. A prosecutor. Michael Reeves. He was going to expose a trafficking network that runs through half the city's elite. Construction, art dealing, real estate. All of it funded by moving people like cargo. Nausea rolled through her. And they killed him. They made it look like an electrical fire. But you were there. You captured him in the window seconds before the explosion. That photo proves it was murder. Why do you know all this? He turned to face her, and the admission in his eyes made her stomach drop. Because I work for them. His voice was hollow. I launder money through property acquisitions. Art galleries, warehouses, hotels. This building. Everything you see, everything I touch, is built on blood. Elena stepped back. Her hip hit the wall. You're telling me this why? So I'll feel sorry for you before you kill me. No. He moved toward her, hands raised like she was a wounded animal. I'm telling you because I'm done. I've been looking for a way out for 3 years, and I can't find one that doesn't end with me in the river. But you have leverage. That photograph is the only evidence that exists. The police. The police chief plays golf with my boss every Sunday. Dominic stopped 3 feet away. Up close, she could see the exhaustion carved into his face, the shadows under his eyes. There's no one coming to save either of us. The overhead lights flickered again. Somewhere in the gallery, glass shattered. Voices rose in alarm. Dominic's phone buzzed. He checked it and his face went rigid. They're here. In the building. Elena's heart slammed against her ribs. Who? Cleaners. People who make problems disappear. He grabbed her hand. Is the photograph digital? Yes. On a hard drive at my apartment. Then we run. Now. They burst into the hallway. The gallery had erupted into chaos, people screaming, security guards shouting into radios. Through the windows, Elena saw black SUVs pulling up to the curb. Dominic pulled her toward a service exit, their footsteps echoing on concrete stairs. They emerged into an alley behind the building, rain immediately soaking through Elena's clothes. Her turtleneck clung to her skin, hair plastered to her face. My car, Dominic said, pointing to a dark sedan parked under a broken streetlight. They ran. Elena's leather bag bounced against her side, her breath coming in gasps. Behind them, the service door crashed open. There. A man's voice. Heavy footsteps. Dominic shoved her into the passenger seat, fired the engine, and peeled out of the alley. Headlights appeared in the rearview mirror. They're following us, Elena gasped. I know. He took a corner too fast, tires screaming. Rain blurred the windshield. Your apartment. Where? Brooklyn. But Dominic, if we go there, they'll know where I live. They already know. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. They've known from the beginning. I was supposed to get close to you, gain your trust, and retrieve the photograph. Instead, I'm committing suicide by trying to save you. The words hit her like a fist. You were sent to manipulate me? Yes. Everything you said back there about being tired, about wanting out, that was all. True. He cut her off, meeting her eyes for a heartbeat before returning to the road. Every word was true. I was sent to use you. But somewhere between researching your life and watching you through gallery windows, I started caring whether you lived or died. And that's not something I felt in a very long time. Elena's throat tightened. She should hate him. She should jump out of this car at the next red light. Instead, she said, take the next left. There's a back entrance through the parking garage. Dominic's jaw clenched. Then he nodded. They pulled into the underground garage of Elena's building 15 minutes later. The headlights that had been following them had vanished 6 blocks back, but Dominic's hands still shook as he killed the engine. This is temporary, he said. They'll regroup and come with more people. Elena pushed wet hair from her face. Her turtleneck was soaked, her trousers heavy with rain. How much time do we have? Maybe an hour. Maybe less. She opened the car door. Then we'd better move fast. Her apartment was on the 4th floor, a cramped studio with exposed pipes and a window overlooking a fire escape. Dominic stood in the doorway while Elena went straight to her desk, pulling out a locked drawer. The hard drive was small silver, containing a year's worth of work. And one photograph that could burn an empire. "This is it," she said. Dominic stared at it like it was a loaded gun. "We need to make copies. Upload it everywhere, send it to every journalist and law enforcement agency we can think of. Make it impossible to suppress." "And then what?" "We just wait for them to come kill us anyway." "No." He met her eyes. "Then I testify. I give them everything. Names, accounts, properties, bodies. I burn it all down from the inside. They'll kill you. Probably." A ghost of a smile crossed his face. "But at least I'll die doing something that matters." Elena's hands trembled. She'd spent a year running from grief, from the guilt of surviving when others hadn't. And now this stranger, this beautiful, broken criminal, was offering her a chance at redemption. Or mutual destruction. Before she could decide, her phone rang. Myra's name flashed on the screen. Elena answered. "Mira, I can't talk right now. They have me." Myra's voice was barely a whisper. "They're at the gallery. They're asking about you, about the photograph." "Elena, I didn't tell them anything, but they're going to hurt me if you don't." The line went dead. Elena's vision blurred. No. No, no, no. Dominic was already moving. "It's a trap. They're using her to draw you out." "I don't care." Elena grabbed her camera bag, shoving the hard drive inside. "She's my best friend. The only family I have left. If you go back there, you're dead." She turned on him, fury and terror warring in her chest. "Then I'm dead. But I'm not abandoning her." Dominic stared at her. Rain dripped from his dark hair onto the floor. His black shirt clung to his frame, and in the dim light of her apartment, he looked like exactly what he was, a man standing at the edge of an abyss. "Okay," he said quietly. "Then we go together." "Why would you do that?" He reached out, his scarred hand cupping her face the way he had in the gallery, a lifetime ago. "Because maybe you're worth dying for. And maybe that's the first true thing I've done in 10 years. Elena's breath caught. Then she kissed him, hard and desperate, tasting rain and regret. His arms came around her, pulling her close, and for one perfect moment, the world outside ceased to exist. When they pulled apart, his forehead rested against hers. "We're probably going to die tonight," he whispered. "I know. Still want to do this?" Elena grabbed her keys. "Let's go save my friend." The Castellano Gallery stood silent when they returned, its windows dark except for a single light burning in the back corridor. The rain had stopped, leaving the street slick and reflective, mirroring the sodium glow of street lamps. Dominic cut the engine 2 blocks away. He'd changed in the car, pulling a dark jacket over his black shirt, checking a gun Elena hadn't known he carried. "Stay behind me," he said. "When we get inside, don't trust anyone. Not security, not staff. Everyone in that building is either compromised or dead." Elena's hands trembled. She'd tied her wet hair back, her black turtleneck still damp against her skin. The camera bag with the hard drive sat heavy in her lap. "What's the plan?" "Find Mira. Get her out. Upload the files before they can stop us." He checked his phone. "I have one contact left in the federal prosecutor's office. If we can get the evidence to her, she can mobilize protection. And if we can't?" Dominic's dark eyes met hers. "Then we improvise." They approached through the service entrance, the same door they'd fled from an hour ago. It hung open, the lock broken. Inside, the stairwell was black as a throat. Dominic moved like a shadow, the gun steady in his hands. Elena followed, her heart hammering so loud she was sure someone would hear. They climbed to the main floor, emerging into the gallery. The space had been destroyed. Paintings torn from walls, sculptures toppled, glass everywhere. In the center of it all, under the single burning light, Mira sat tied to a chair. Elena's breath stopped. Mira. Her friend's face was bruised, blood trickling from her split lip. Her elegant dress, a deep emerald silk, was torn at the shoulder. But her eyes, when they found Elena's, held only relief. "You came," Mira whispered. "Of course I came." Elena started forward, but Dominic's hand shot out, stopping her. "Wait," he said. "Something's wrong. She's hurt." "Where are they?" Dominic scanned the shadows. Where are the people who took her? As if summoned, footsteps echoed from the corridor. A man emerged from the darkness, tall and silver-haired, wearing an expensive charcoal suit. He moved with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no. Dominic. The man's voice was cultured, almost warm. I'm disappointed. After everything we've built together, you choose now to develop a conscience. Dominic's gun didn't waver. Marcus. I should have known you'd handle this yourself. Marcus smiled. You've cost me a significant amount of money tonight. Running around playing hero with this photographer. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? Let the girl go, Dominic said. Your problem is with me. Oh, my problem is with everyone in this room. Marcus gestured casually, and men appeared from the shadows. 6 of them, all armed, all positioned at exits. But we can resolve this simply. Give me the hard drive, and I'll make your deaths quick. Elena's blood turned to ice. Mira. I'm sorry. Myra's voice broke. I'm so sorry, Elena. They threatened my sister, her kids. I didn't know what else to do. What are you talking about? Tears streamed down Myra's face. There was no kidnapping. No threat. I called you because Marcus told me to. I brought you back here because they needed you both in one place. The world tilted. Elena felt like she'd been punched. You betrayed me. They would have killed my family. So you fed me to them instead? Elena's voice rose. I trusted you. You were the only person I had left after my parents died, and you sold me out for love, Marcus interrupted. Family. The things that matter most. Surely you understand that, Miss Chin. After all, isn't that why you're here? Because you care about your dear friend. Dominic stepped between Elena and Marcus, his gun still raised. You have what you want. We're cornered. Let Mira go. I don't think so. Marcus pulled out his own weapon, pressing it to Myra's temple. Here's what's going to happen. Miss Chin is going to hand over that camera bag. Then you're both going to kneel. And then, because I'm a merciful man, I'll let you die together. Elena's mind raced. The hard drive. The evidence. If she gave it up, Michael Reeves would never get justice. The trafficking network would continue. Everything Dominic had risked would be for nothing. But if she didn't, Mira would die right in front of her. Don't do it, Dominic said quietly. He's going to kill us all anyway. Your friend knows me too well, Marcus agreed. But I'll kill her first if you make me wait. Elena's hands shook as she gripped her camera bag. Myra's eyes met hers, pleading and broken. This woman had held her through her parents' funeral, had taught her to laugh again, had been her sister in every way that mattered. Until tonight. Elena, please, Mira sobbed. I know I don't deserve it, but please don't let him hurt me. Time seemed to slow. Elena could hear her own heartbeat, the rain starting again outside, the creak of the building settling. She thought of her parents, of the photograph that had started this nightmare, of Dominic standing beside her like a shield made of sins and second chances. She made her choice. Okay, Elena said. Okay, don't hurt her. She started to lower the bag. And Dominic moved. He fired 3 times in rapid succession, the gunshots deafening in the enclosed space. 2 of Marcus's men dropped. Then Dominic grabbed Elena, pulling her behind a toppled sculpture as return fire erupted. Run, he shouted. The back exit go. Not without you. I'll be right behind you. Elena ran, bullets whining past her head, the camera bag clutched to her chest. She hit the corridor at full speed, Dominic's footsteps pounding behind her. Behind them, Marcus's voice rose in fury. Kill them both. No more games. They crashed through the service door and into the alley. Dominic's car was too far. They'd never make it. Fire escape, Elena gasped, pointing up. They climbed, metal rattling under their feet, rain making the rungs slippery. Elena's turtleneck snagged on a bolt, tearing. Dominic's jacket caught on the railing. Below, men poured into the alley. They reached the roof just as bullets sparked off the metal below. Dominic hauled Elena over the ledge, both of them collapsing onto the tar paper surface. The city spread around them, lights blazing through the rain. We're trapped, Elena panted. Dominic rolled to his feet, checking his gun. 3 bullets left. Against 6 men and Marcus. I've faced worse odds. He looked at her, rain streaming down his face, and smiled. It was sad and beautiful and utterly broken. Although usually I was on the other side. Elena stood, the camera bag soaked but intact. There has to be another way down. Not one we can reach before they get here. He moved to the roof's edge, peering down. It's a 4-story drop to the next building. Even if we jump, we'd break both legs. Footsteps thundered on the fire escape. Dominic turned to Elena. In his wet black clothes, bleeding from a graze on his arm, he looked like a fallen angel ready for his final battle. "Give me the hard drive," he said. "What?" "Give it to me." His voice was urgent. "I'm going to hold them off while you run. There's a maintenance ladder on the east side, leads down to the adjacent building. You take it, you get to street level, and you get that evidence to the prosecutor. I'm not leaving you. Elena." He grabbed her shoulders. "One of us has to survive this. One of us has to make sure they pay. And it can't be me." Tears burned her eyes, mixing with rain. "Why not?" "Because I'm already dead." His thumb brushed her cheek. "I died 3 years ago when I made my first deal with the devil. This, tonight, helping you, it's the first time I've felt alive since. Don't take that away from me. Let me die for something good." The fire escape rattled. Voices called out, "Close now." Elena pulled the hard drive from her bag, pressing it into his hands. Then she kissed him, fierce and desperate, pouring every unsaid word into it. When they broke apart, Dominic smiled. "Thank you." "For what?" "For making me remember what it feels like to be human." He pushed her toward the east edge of the roof. "Go. Don't look back." Elena ran, tears streaming, the sound of gunfire erupting behind her. She found the ladder, started to climb down, her hands shaking so hard she nearly fell. Above her, Dominic's voice rang out. "Is that all you've got?" More gunfire. A scream that might have been Dominic's or might have been hers. She dropped onto the next roof, ran for the opposite side, found another ladder. Down, 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 until her feet hit concrete. She ran through alleys and side streets, her lungs burning, her vision blurred with rain and tears, until she collapsed against a wall 3 blocks away. Sirens wailed in the distance. Growing closer. Elena pulled out her phone with shaking hands and dialed the number Dominic had given her. A woman answered on the first ring. "This is Federal Prosecutor Sarah Chen." "Who is this?" "My name is Elena Chen. I have evidence of murder and trafficking. And I need help right now. Where are you?" Elena gave her location, then hung up. She slid down the wall, sitting in the rain, hugging her knees to her chest. The hard drive was gone. Dominic was gone. Mira had betrayed her. Everything she'd thought was solid had turned to smoke. But she was alive. And somewhere out there, if Dominic had succeeded, the evidence was already uploading. Already spreading. Already burning down Marcus's empire. She just had to survive long enough to see it through. Headlights appeared at the end of the alley. Elena tensed, ready to run. Then a voice called out, "Elena Chen?" Federal agents, weapons drawn, moving toward her with professional caution. Elena raised her hands. "I'm unarmed. I'm the one who called." They surrounded her, checking her for weapons, for injuries. One of them, a woman with kind eyes, draped a jacket over Elena's shoulders. "You're safe now," she said. But Elena wasn't sure she'd ever feel safe again. As they led her to a waiting car, she looked back at the city skyline. Somewhere out there, on a rain-soaked roof, Dominic had made his final stand. She hoped it had been enough. She hoped he knew that she would finish what they started. And she hoped, desperately, that some part of him had survived. The safe house smelled like coffee and industrial cleaner. Elena sat wrapped in a gray blanket, her borrowed FBI sweatshirt 3 sizes too large, staring at the television mounted on the wall. 24 hours had passed since the gallery. 24 hours since she'd left Dominic on that roof. The news anchor's voice droned on, breaking developments in what federal prosecutors are calling the largest organized crime bust in a decade. Marcus Holloway, prominent real estate developer, was arrested this morning along with 15 associates in connection with human trafficking, money laundering, and multiple homicides. Elena's hands tightened around her coffee mug. The screen showed footage of Marcus in handcuffs, his silver hair disheveled, his expensive suit rumpled. He looked smaller somehow. Less like a monster and more like an old man facing consequences. Prosecutor Sarah Chen appeared on screen next, standing at a podium surrounded by microphones. She was younger than Elena expected, maybe 40, with sharp features and exhausted eyes. This investigation was made possible by the courage of witnesses who came forward with evidence at great personal risk, Sarah said. We owe them a debt of gratitude. The door to the safe house opened. Sarah herself walked in, carrying a manila folder and looking like she hadn't slept in days. She wore a navy pantsuit, her dark hair pulled back severely. "Miss Chen," she said, sitting across from Elena. "How are you holding up?" "I'm alive." Elena's voice sounded hollow even to her own ears. "That's more than some people can say." Sarah's expression softened. "I'm sorry about your friend. We have Mira in protective custody. She's cooperating fully with the investigation." Rage flared hot in Elena's chest. "I don't want to hear about her." "Understood." Sarah opened the folder. "I need to show you something. It's about Dominic Thorne." Elena's breath caught. "Is he dead?" "We don't know." The words hung in the air like smoke. Elena set down her coffee before she dropped it. "What does that mean?" "We found blood on the gallery roof. Signs of a struggle. Spent shell casings. But no body." Sarah pulled out photographs, crime scene images that made Elena's stomach turn. "We also found this." She laid out a different photo. A burner phone, cracked screen, sitting on the roof's edge. "It was registered to Dominic," Sarah continued. The last outgoing message was sent at 11:47 p.m., right around the time of the confrontation. "It went to an encrypted server we've been trying to crack." "What did it say?" Sarah hesitated. Then, "Upload complete. Backup secured. Tell her I'm sorry." Tears burned Elena's eyes. She pressed her palms against them, fighting for control. "So he did it. He got the evidence out." "More than that." The hard drive contained financial records, wire transfers, property deeds, encrypted communications going back 5 years. "Combined with your photograph and Dominic's testimony." "Wait." Elena looked up. "Testimony? You mean a statement?" "I mean a 50-page document detailing every crime he participated in or witnessed since joining Marcus Holloway's organization." Sarah's voice was gentle. "He sent it the same night. Timestamped 2 hours before the gallery incident. He knew he wasn't walking away from this, Miss Chen. He was preparing for the worst." Elena stood, the blanket falling from her shoulders. She paced to the window, looking out at a city that felt alien now. Everything familiar had burned. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you deserve to know what he sacrificed." Sarah joined her at the window. "And because we need your help finding him." Elena turned. "You think he survived?" 4 of Marcus's men were found dead on that roof. 2 from gunshot wounds, 2 from blunt force trauma. The fire escape was covered in blood leading down. Someone fought their way out of that situation, and I don't think it was Marcus's people. Hope was a dangerous thing. Elena had learned that. But it bloomed in her chest anyway, fragile and painful. "What do you need me to do?" "Help us understand him." Sarah pulled out more documents. Every property he owned, every alias he used, every safe house or connection he might run to. "We've been through his files, but you knew him. You saw something in him that made you trust him. I barely knew him for 6 hours. Sometimes that's enough." Sarah's eyes held understanding. "Sometimes people show you exactly who they are when everything falls apart." Elena spent the next 3 hours walking Sarah through every conversation, every detail she could remember. The way Dominic had moved through spaces like he didn't quite belong. The scar through his eyebrow that he'd never explained. The exhaustion in his voice when he said he'd been looking for a way out. "He mentioned a contact," Elena said suddenly. "Someone in the prosecutor's office. That's how he knew to send me to you." Sarah's expression shifted. "We haven't been able to identify who that was. Our office has been compromised before. It's possible someone tipped him off, helped him operate under the radar. Or helped him disappear. Possibly." Sarah closed her notes. "We'll keep looking. In the meantime, you'll stay in protective custody until we're certain there's no remaining threat." "How long?" "As long as it takes." That night, Elena lay awake in the safe house bedroom, staring at the ceiling. Federal agents stood guard outside. The world had moved on, the news cycle already shifting to the next crisis. But she was frozen in that moment on the roof, in Dominic's last kiss, in the sound of gunfire as she ran. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Elena's heart stopped. She answered without thinking. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Heavy pained. Dominic, she whispered. A cough. Then his voice, rough as gravel and barely audible. You're safe. Tears streamed down her face. Where are you? Can't say. They're still looking. Another cough, wet and concerning. I'm sorry I left you there. I'm sorry for all of it. You saved my life. You saved mine first. A pause filled with unspoken things. The evidence did it. It worked. Marcus is in custody. 15 others. They're calling it the biggest bust in years. She heard him exhale, a sound of pure relief. Good. That's good. Dominic, you need medical attention. Tell me where you are. I can help you. No. His voice was firm despite the pain. If they find me, I go to prison for the rest of my life. I'm not asking you to help me run. Then why did you call? Silence stretched between them, the kind that held whole universes of meaning. I needed to hear your voice one more time, he said finally. I needed to know it was worth it. Elena's chest ached. It was worth it. You're worth it. Don't disappear. Please. I have to. His breathing was labored now. But Elena? That photo you took, the one of the fire? Keep taking pictures. Keep capturing truth. The world needs people like you. I need you. No, you don't. His voice softened. You needed someone to remind you that you're brave. Someone to stand with you when it mattered. But you had that strength all along. I just helped you remember. Footsteps in the background. Dominic's sharp intake of breath. I have to go. Wait. Don't look for me. Promise me. Elena's hand tightened on the phone. Every fiber of her being wanted to promise. Wanted to lie. But she'd had enough of lies. I can't promise that. She heard him laugh, pained but genuine. Then I guess I'll have to stay lost. Dominic. Goodbye, Elena Chin. Thank you for making me want to be better. The line went dead. Elena sat in the darkness, phone pressed to her chest, tears streaming silently down her face. Somewhere out there, wounded and running, was the man who'd turned her world inside out in the span of a single night. The man who'd chosen her over his own survival. The man she might never see again. But the silence of the safe house was broken by a different sound. Her laptop, sitting on the desk, chimed with a new email. Elena crossed the room, opened it. The sender was anonymous. The subject line, for when you're ready. Inside was a single attachment. A photograph. Elena opened it and her breath caught. It was her. Standing in the gallery, lit by harsh industrial lights, looking at the burning field's photograph. The angle suggested someone had taken it from the shadows, capturing her in a moment of raw vulnerability. Below the image, 3 words, keep capturing truth. And in the corner, barely visible, a symbol she recognized from Dominic's files. A stylized crown with a cracked foundation. His signature. Elena saved the photo, then opened her own archived files. The photograph of Michael Reeves in the window. The evidence that had started everything. She wouldn't stop taking pictures. Wouldn't stop looking for truth. And she wouldn't stop looking for Dominic Thorne. Because some stories didn't end cleanly. Some connections didn't sever just because the world said they should. And some people were worth fighting for, even when they'd already disappeared into the dark.